Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. Things ramped up in the NFL this weekend. The Giants, no surprise, they lost. Now they're 0-5. Excuse me, not 5-0. Did I almost say that? They're 0-5, lost to the Chargers, and Odell Beckham's out for the year. Now, he's got a fractured ankle, got surgery yesterday, so the ankle should be healing as of now. I want to say surgery was yesterday, late last night, or early this morning, but he will be back sometime next season. Definitely not this season. And some people may look and say, why didn't he hold out? Why didn't he wait on that money? Well, if you're Odell Beckham, you want to play. You want to be on the field. You have endorsements, and those endorsements sell with people seeing your likeness all over the television on the football field balling out. Adam Schefter jumped all over Odell Beckham about the fact that he went out there and played when he was only making $1.8 million this year, and he could have been making $50, $60 million a year with his new contract, so therefore he should have held out. However, Mr. Schefter, you have to understand, as a football player, people want to get on the field. They don't want to just sit back and wait, no matter the money, this or that. Sometimes people love the game a little bit more than the money. So can I blame Odell for playing? I can't blame him for playing, but may it have been wiser for him to sit back and wait his turn until the contract was signed, sealed, delivered at his? Probably so. But that remains to be seen because at the end of the day, he got hurt. So in football, it's a dangerous sport. Whether you play or not play, you can be walking around outside and trip and fall and twist your ankle and be done playing forever. So I can't fault this man for going out there and wanting to do something that he loves. Now, also the Giants have problems. Brandon Marshall's out for the year. So Ben McAdoo, he may be out as coach sooner than later. So pay attention to that situation. Aaron Rodgers has the juice when he goes into Dallas, beat the Cowboys 35-31, TD with 11 seconds left to Davante Adams right after he just got back from getting knocked out by Danny Trevathan. Aaron Rodgers was 19 for 29, 221 yards, 3 TDs. Obviously, there's no defense in Green Bay because they're giving up 31 points. Quentin Rollins, where you at? All those young DBs that they have in the secondary, you would think that at some point they'd be able to come together, but the 2 draft picks that they've gotten the past few years at the cornerback position just have not been the guys they need. Kevin King, bright young kid, but he's got to come along. He's the kid from Washington. Now, also, the Steelers got mauled by the Jaguars 30-9. Big Ben, 5 picks. Then after the game, talking about he ain't got it. Big Ben, you're right. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's time to park that bus and get off. J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless are out for the year for the Texans. That's really disheartening considering that the young rookie's back there and needs a defense backing him up. They combined for 109 sacks since they've been together on that roster, on that defense. So this is a big loss for the Texans. And J.J. Watt especially, just considering he's a former defensive NFL MVP, not to mention the stuff he's done off the field. That is phenomenal. This is just a big loss for the Texans all the way around. And I don't know if their season will go up or down from this point, but we shall see this weekend coming up. Now, a big story that came out yesterday, Dolphins offensive line coach Chris Foerster was sniffing something on a desk and was supposedly going to some meeting somewhere. That video surfaced yesterday, and he was effectively asked to resign. And Stephen A. Smith went off and said, why was he not fired? Because I know a lot of guys, if they get caught sniffing a white powdery substance, which could have been not the other Coke, but a lot of those guys would have been fired, not necessarily given the opportunity to resign. So, Kiwana Nije exposed him, basically said that this was payback for what the Dolphins were doing to the players, requesting and requiring them to stand for the anthem. She didn't like all the backlash that players were getting for NFL protests and domestic violence, so this was her way of getting back. Kind of sick and twisted, but hey, blame the coach, Chris Foerster, for sending the video in the first place. Who sends a video sniffing stuff out of a $20 bill in a white table to Facebook? Who does that? Old folks, if you're not a millennial, pay attention. Stay away from the Facebook Messenger. Stay away from the Instagram Messenger. You guys don't know how to use them. No, I'm just playing. But definitely make sure you're cognizant of what you're sending. People who are older using this technology, you got to be careful. Trubisky last night against the Bears, he looked all right against the Vikings. He looked okay. His arm was a lot stronger than I thought. He was a lot more confident than I thought he would be. So I think the Bears are in a good situation. Having a young guy like that, yeah, they lost 20-17 to the Vikings. Sam Bradford re-aggravated the knee, which I figured he might because he looked gingerly ginger in warm-ups, just walking around. People said he looked good, but I thought he looked gingered, and of course he re-aggravates the knee. I definitely think that the number 2 pick for the Bears will probably pan out. Now, NBA-wise, I got to get to this, okay? Lonzo Ball is skipping the Kings games like a second-period classroom. Why is it that every time the Kings and the Lakers are about to play through Summer League and through preseason, Lonzo Ball's not available? Yes, I know De'Aaron Fox is a baller. Yes, I know he gave him buckets in AAU and as well at Kentucky versus versus UCLA when they were in college. But Lonzo Ball, at some point, you've got to face your fears. And at some point, I don't even think it's Lonzo Ball. I think it's the Lakers trying to protect their assets. But come on, guys. They're going to play at some point. You might as well let them get it over with. Joel Embiid, new deal, 5 years, $148 million. And this is a no-brainer because he showed in 31 games that he's got sauce, he's got juice, he dances on Instagram, fan favorite, and he's a generational talent. Now the question is, can those feet and those knees hold up? Because at this point, I trust the process. Now, Major League Baseball-wise, of course, it's playoff time. You got the Astros. They've beat the Sox 3-1. They move on to the ALCS, where they will await either the Yankees or the Windians, or a.k.a. Indians. The Yankees tied that up yesterday. Joe Girardi could be out of a job or could be looking for one. I don't think that the Yankees would get rid of him. He's won at least 91 games over since 2008, since he's been there. So I don't see the Yankees getting rid of Joe Girardi, but the Houston Astros, whoever plays them, Yankees or Indians, have to deal with a lot of hitters and good pitching with Verlander and Keuchel and everybody else. Now, as far as the NL goes, Dodgers got the broom out, swept the Diamondbacks up out of here. Can Kershaw be the man, though? He's the only pitcher to ever give up 4 homers in a playoff game like that, and they still win? So, Clayton Kershaw, you got to be the guy that you're supposed to be. You can't be like Matt Stafford on Sunday and take the L because you get busted up by the other pitcher and hitters, because the Lions, of course, lost 27-24. But Clayton Kershaw, you have to be the ace, the Cy Young winner that we know, the guy that we talk about in folklore. Now, the Cubs, they lead the Nats 2-1. Now, will that game get rained out tonight? I'm not particularly sure, but I think the Cubs will definitely be in that NLCS, and they'll play the Dodgers. So that'll be a funny matchup because you got an up-and-comer versus defending champs. So I really look forward to seeing that. NCAA football-wise, this weekend, Michigan lost 14-10 to Michigan State. Blame it on the rain. I'm not blaming it on the rain. I'm blaming it on sorry quarterback play. Jim Harbaugh, recruit better quarterbacks, because Wilton Speight and John O'Korn are not the guys. Both of them bums. So, Michigan, if you ever want to wear that Jumpman logo in a playoff game, a college football playoff game, then I suggest you go find a real quarterback. Now, the Oklahoma loss to Iowa State, that just really stunned me. They lost, 38-31? At home, I just think that we're not focused. That defense has shown they're not that great. Now, TCU has the wheel, and they're steering the car for the Big 12 down the track because they just busted up West Virginia on game day. So, TCU, congrats to you. Miami's back. They beat FSU. They're undefeated. Oh, my goodness. Malik Rozier, this entire Miami offense, Jose Barrios, not Jose Barrios from the Twins, but Barrios, the receiver. I really like him for Miami. And then they had the game winner at the end. Just an epic contest. So watch out for the U on the block, because Mark Richt has those guys playing. And Saquon Barkley is definitely your Heisman. 16 carries, 75 yards, 2 TDs on Saturday against Northwestern. But the way he does it is just flawless. Yeah, he wasn't spectacular on Saturday, but he's a generational talent. I know I like to use that word a lot, but he is someone who is a formidable back in any offense. And the Giants, if they go winless, they might as well go ahead and go draft Saquon Barkley. And if the Vikings don't shape up to have a better season than they have right now, because they've had an okay season, then I say you trade up and go get Saquon Barkley, because Dalvin Cook, who knows when he'll come back. So sad for the Vikings, they lose Teddy Bridgewater and Dalvin Cook in this 2-year span. That franchise needs some luck. Well, I will say this. Enjoyed talking to you guys this morning, but I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching the Zoe Knows Sports Show. You know we'll talk soon. And you know that Zoe knows, so make sure you always stay tuned in. Good day, folks.